let's talk about the exchange and relationship between your intuitive, highly sensitive empath or healer and a narcissist. I'd really love to explore the dynamic that I see, the exchange that's happening between these two different energies. I really want to be able to convey ways that we can feel really safe to be who we are. There's been so many conversations this year where I've really heard from these highly sensitive, deeply loving, empathic healers or truth bringers who are really deeply concerned about ending up in a relationship with a narcissist and really mourning and grieving so many of their relationships in the past that they've only realized after time was actually a narcissist. So I want to share my personal perspective so that we can all feel really safe to be who we are. And please allow yourself to sense whether this resonates for you or whether it doesn't for any reason. Just turn it off and just let it waft over your shoulder. So if you resonate with the title of empath, someone who feels the emotions of others within your own body, or highly sensitive, intuitive, psychic, we can actually be really, really concerned that we're going to attract a narcissist because a lot of our past experiences have actually been interwoven with these narcissist types. I actually really appreciate the value of people that are committed to the energetic position of being a narcissist because it helps us to really see how we don't want to be. And so I really just want to acknowledge the experiences that we've had so far have really helped us to accumulate more light. We've really come to understand that being so devoted to our own wounding and our own needs and really falling into a deep pit of selfishness for ourselves, or if we've been close to or in a relationship with someone like this, really helps us to understand how connected and unified we all are in our common experience of being wounded and falling from our truth. What's really, really important to understand is that I see empaths as basically the healers of the world. And when I talk about someone being a healer, for me that's being a truth bringer. And empaths are the ones who are privileged to some of the most unique and personal emotional data of humanity. We're the ones that can actually perceive and know the trauma of someone's past, the intimate emotional details of their current lives, of the past, and it's just incredible how much you can know about the state of humanity just from peering into the beauty of someone's heart. What's really, really important to understand is that as an empath, we're actually predisposed to serve. We're actually predisposed to show up in love. And many of us are privileged to witness some of the most profound and horrific experiences that have ever befallen humanity. I think what's so important is to be able to recognize that this is a privilege and that it's a gift, but there's another, I guess, implication to this gift is that as healers and lovers and truth bringers, those who are seeking healing and love are actually intrinsically drawn to us, whether you verbally communicate this or not. Your whole field is vibrating this energy. So being able to understand that wanting to love and serve and heal and help actually attracts people who are seeking that very energy, which is where we come into play with the narcissist type. Because narcissists are really wanting someone external to really love them, to really show up in devotion to them and their needs. They're just not very good at being in a position where they can actually return or reciprocate that. And that's just a matter of their stage, their learning, their growth, their experience, their exposure. And what's most important is to have compassion for them. We want to love them, but it's okay to not try and heal them and to actually release them from our lives. The only way that we can do that is to actually understand what's going on when we encounter a narcissist type. And you know who they are. They're the ones that are drawn to you. They're really enamored by you, and they really want to spend a lot of time with you because you're very generous, you're very gracious, you're merciful, you're accepting. You've actually taken a lot of the wounding and the pain from your past. You've actually cultivated into these beautiful characteristics that are so, so appealing. So be able to see how this like healer type is like, oh, and this narcissist is just like a moth to the flame, just coming in, so drawn in by that. What's really, really important to understand is that as healers and highly sensitive empaths, we encountered wounding in our formative years where some of our most pivotal and sacred emotional needs were not met by our caregivers or our parents, guardians, and what that actually does is it leaves core wounding in our inner child. And so we're all kind of initiated into the path of being a healer by actually being able to really discern the wounding in the inner child within others. And kind of subliminally what's going on is that we're actually seeking to love and heal and hold the inner child within somebody else in a hope that someone will actually show up and be willing to do the same for us. Now this is where, if we stay in this emotional position, we really will attract a narcissist that will keep us stuck in this giving position. They'll move into the taking position, and it's just all downhill from there. If you know, I think we've all been there. And no matter what degree you've been there for, it's really pivotal to be able to look at these experiences and bless them and thank them for helping you to see that when we're in a position to only help and heal and love the wounded inner child in somebody else, we are going to attract a narcissist who will be in a taking position with us. The way that we can shift and be in a more harmonious relationship with ourselves as highly sensitive, intuitive empaths or healers, what we can do is we can actually recognize that the wounded child that we perceive in somebody else is only ever a reflection of the wounded child within us. And this has been the sole devotion of my personal work for the last 10 years, to be able to recognize that the emotional needs and wounding of my own inner child is actually the highest priority for me every day, and that the people and the clients that I'm blessed to serve are only ever a reflection of that. So as we show up in deep devotion to healing our own inner child, what happens is that it creates an emotional climate where narcissists are called into a position to become more aware of their own emotional needs and their own responsibility to heal and love themselves back home to wholeness. I guess my heart's just so happy to express that here with you, and I don't know how you're going to feel when you receive it, but I just really want, you know, the beautiful lovers and helpers and healers of this world to really feel safe in their sacred gifts and recognize that when we're wanting to give something to somebody else that we're not willing to extend to ourselves, we will attract narcissists. But if we can remember that our own devotion and our own point of power is only ever in relationship to our own wounding and our own inner child, it puts us in a powerful position to be able to be devoted to our own coming home, to our own return to truth. And then we will attract more people who are in that same process of healing themselves, supporting themselves to come home to the truth of who they are. I hope that this is juicy, and I hope that this is bountiful for you to hear, that it can bless your life. I send my love and blessings and would love to hear what you think of this. Lots of love from Lysa.